Let's go to the phone lines and welcome in Brett Goode, former Arkansas Razorback, former Green Bay Packer, former Super Bowl champion, joins us every Wednesday at 7:20. Brett, I want to start with you playing football over the years, high school, junior high, college, professionally. Have you ever participated in a game where your head coach wasn't on the sidelines with you?
No, I haven't. And that's a weird scenario, and obviously with the sickness, that's going around, it's happening more often this year. But fortunately for me, I didn't ever have to deal with it. But it's definitely a little bit of a change because everybody's little pieces change. But then if you have guys that are balanced and they know what they're doing, like our staff does and previous head coaching experience, they're able to make that transition a little bit better.
And, Brett, this is the conversation we had all off season long. It's like, hey, if this ever happens, you have Barry Odom, kind of the ace in the hole in your back pocket, former head coach in this league, had success in this league. Now that this is actually occurring, how valuable was the addition to Barry Odom to this staff?
Well, I think it's huge. Obviously, you've seen what he's done on defense, and there's been mixed emotions of whether or not he should have been let go at Missouri. But this is big for him, and if he's ever going to move on, this also gives him another chance of what he's doing in the SEC. So that's not what we want to see as Arkansas fans, is him to move on from the program, and we've just from rumors. But this gives him that experience and that kind of deal. If he can go down to Florida and kind of continue this success, that also puts another little point on his side.
I want to go back to something I said right before you joined us and see, as a guy who played at a lot of different levels as Ty was going over. Even though you've never played without a head coach, the work he's done to put this staff together probably makes his absence less impactful than you would than you'd see if your quarterback was gone, if one of your coordinators was gone, if your play caller, like Kendall Briles, was the one that had a positive test this week. It would have more impact on what you're doing on game day. Do you think that's a true statement that, while you never want to be without your head coach from a lot of different angles, there's other people that could be missing on Saturday that would probably have greater impact on the game day operation than the head coach because of the work he's put in to get you to this point?
I'd agree with that, and most staffs are that way. If you go to where if he was calling the plays, like you said, defense or offensively, it would be a little bit differently. But to have the staff that he has around him where they're all winners, it's just like the cross-training they said they did within the football program, that they knew that things were going to get mixed up this year. Things were going to happen, and it's the ability to take those changes and be able to move forward with that. And so far, they seem like they're doing okay with it from coming out from the players' minds. And we'll see what happens whenever they go down Florida. All
right, let's flash back to the game against Tennessee. What were your thoughts when this team was down 13-0 going into the locker room? At points in the first half, Tennessee seemed to be able to run the ball at will on Arkansas. What were your thoughts? And then did you see the path to the comeback that unfolded in the third quarter?
I was really nervous, especially after the first quarter, when they just kept running the ball. They didn't even have to hardly throw it. They just ran down and throw it. We didn't stop them. And I knew that the only way that we would have a chance in the second half was to make them not run north and south. They had to run east and west, and we had to be able to kind of game tackle them a little bit. And we were able to do that. We were flying to the football. We were moving. It showed that we can go in and make adjustments, which is a nice thing that we haven't had in years past of halftime adjustments. Usually when we went in a halftime down, we came back out and we were still down. And so that's a great thing for our program, that we're making these adjustments that we need in order to win and make changes within our game plan to benefit our football team. And that we may miss from Sam Pittman.
Brett, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of where you let Chad Morris go, and I think back to that day. I was asked about it last night. Hey, what was it like for sports radio on this day? How many news? Just how crazy was it? And then now to where you are. And listen, I'll give you credit. You said 4 to 5 wins from the jump, and right now the trajectory is leaning in that direction. I just wonder, for Arkansas fans out there, Brett, how many fans do you think genuinely believed that you would be this far at this point in the season in your perspective?
Yeah, I'd probably only say, honestly, 5% maybe. And I think that's a stretch because you had everybody picking us to lose, and they just saw the roster. They saw what we did last year. But, we see it in LSU. It's a new season. Things change. Rosters change. And so the things kind of move in the right direction. If you look at the staff, we've talked about it. with what we were able to do. And now, not only have we won games and we're beating what we were projected to do, now we've actually got excitement within the state and with fans that people think that we can go anywhere and play and compete and have a chance to win. And that's what you want. That right there, that mindset, I wouldn't even say, that's hard to do because you have resurrected a program that was down in the dumps, and now you've really given them the belief they can go anywhere in the country and play. And that's huge for Arkansas football.
Brett, what he's done is instilled confidence, and I also think he instilled some confidence in A.J. Reed on Saturday night. Dude misses a 21-yard field goal. Fans are groaning and moaning throughout the stadium. Then he sends him out for a 48-yarder, and everyone's like, what is going on? And Sam said after the game, it's like, if I didn't believe he could kick it, I wouldn't have sent him out there, and I told him that. And, of course, A.J. nails it. That completely altered the second half of that football game. How important was that for Sam to do that, so A.J. has that confidence the rest of the season where he might need a big field goal from him at some point later on?
It's huge for two reasons. It's one, it's knowing that he's his kicker, and two, knowing that he's going to give him a shot to go out there, even after a miss, to have another opportunity to have a make. And kicking's tough. Kicking in the SEC is tough. Kicking in general is tough. I know from a lot of perspectives, everybody says it's easy, just kick it between the goalposts. And, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, and they'd be very successful at it.
Yeah.
So to have him go out there and say that, this is what you want as a coach, because he believes in his players. These are his guys. He's given that confidence back into him, just like you said. Now it moves forward because it eases his mind. It's like a pitcher being pulled, then sticking them back out there, as soon as they're able. You don't just not play a pitcher for having a bad outing, So it's just instills in his mind that, hey, this is confidence. He's got it. And it also, that trickles along the entire sideline and the entire coaching staff and the entire players, and that just makes the team even come together more.
Yeah, if it was easy, we just hit it in the fairway, too, while we were at it. So
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if you've ever had a place that seemed to haunt you, a venue that seemed to haunt you, but Arkansas winning in the Swamp hadn't happened. Quite frankly, since Arkansas has joined the league, they did beat Florida in 16, but they haven't had a lot of success against Florida. So it's not just a venue in Gainesville that's haunted the Razorbacks. It's a team that's haunted them. I know you got a taste of that in the championship in 06. Just seems like Florida always finds a way, even in the games that are close, and there's been a lot of these games in the series since Arkansas joined the league that haven't even been close. Florida's a very good football team, as we know, but it seems like no matter when you catch them, even in the years they've been down, Florida finds a way, man. What is it about Arkansas and Florida? Things never seem to match up or line up. I know Arkansas got them in under Bielema, but it hadn't been very often that Arkansas gets by the Florida Gators.
No, it hasn't been often, and it's tough to go down there to play for all the years that, when they've had a packed stadium. I know I got to go experience, and it's crazy. I mean, it's very loud. It's intimidating when you go in, and you got to, you get past it and you just start playing football at a certain point. You don't think about it, but they've had really good recruiting classes. They've been, in the SEC East, they've been top for a while, if not the number one, but they've just been up on the top end, compared to, Kentucky and Vanderbilt in the SEC East. So they're a tough football team. They're coached well. It doesn't matter who comes in to coach them. They're coached well. And so, I kind of attribute this year is as weird as 2020 is. Why isn't this the year that we just go down there and somehow pull off a miraculous win? But it's going to take, the whole team. It's going to take the entire game to be able to pull something like that off.
All right. So exactly what does it take? Turnovers has been a part of the equation when Arkansas has won. I would imagine that would be where I would begin. Is that where you would begin? You got to force turnovers?
Absolutely. Win the turnover margin. We, take care of the ball and be good on special teams. We know our defense is good. The offense, they get in a rhythm. They really start showing us something, and it's about getting that rhythm. And so hopefully we can find the rhythm early and we can sustain it. And that's what we've got to do for Arkansas. You saw the Tennessee guy, where he falls down. We don't know if he's hurt, but we were catching a rhythm, and then your offense just kept clicking at that point. If we can continue that, I think everybody just starts playing off each other, and we become electric, and who knows what we can do.
Talking with Brett Goode, former Arkansas Razorback, former Green Bay Packer here on the Morning Rush. Brett, I think one of the other pivotal parts of this football game is Kyle Pitts, the best tight end in college football, is still questionable. He has a third of the touchdown catches for Florida this year. If he doesn't play, you think about how much Weidemeyer destroyed them in the Texas A&M game. If he doesn't play, what's the significance of that and just what he brings to the table if he isn't able to participate?
I think it's huge. You saw what like you said, that they've done to us in the past with tight ends. You look across the league, you look in the NFL, tight ends are explosive when they're good, and they're hard to stop with your D-backs and your safeties and your linebackers. Whoever's trying to guard them, it's almost a mismatch, and it's just not fair sometimes. So if you take them out of the game, that's kind of you put that in Arkansas's category. It's like, okay, now defense should really be okay and give us an opportunity to kind of focus in on, stopping the run and playing the, zone coverage or however he mixes it up this week on our defensive back end, that we can, create a turnover. And I think that's big, especially when you get down in the goal line situations. If this game happens to go to overtime, you've now taken a tight end out if he doesn't play. You remember Tennessee back in the day of Witten and going to, catching a touchdown. So tight ends are a very big part of the game. They're like a receiver, but they're freakishly big, and they can run, and they're strong. And so it's hard to do that, put somebody like that up against a free safety, strong safety, or whatever, when you're going in short yardage situations.
Brett, we've also talked a little Masters this morning, and I think that people are really excited to see a combination of both football and golf this weekend, which doesn't happen because they play this in April. Who are some of the guys that you're watching out for this weekend that you think have a chance to win the green jacket?
That's a tough one. Obviously, I'm rooting for the older guys because I like to see, them continue to stack success. But then you look at the younger guys, and you've got, DeChambeau and all these guys that are going to try to overpower the course. They're talking about a bunch of rain where if you got rain, you can throw Rory in there. It's going to be an interesting game or match because all these guys have never played this in these conditions this time of year. So you've got the long ball hitters who are going to try and cut corners, try and suck it back on the green. But it's like golf, always comes down to chipping and putting. And so whoever has the best ability for 4 straight days to chip and putt well and get out of those bad breaks and do that, they're going to be able to be successful. So I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a great match, but I'd like to see, Phil win another one. It would be, I think it'd be good for him.
And he would be the oldest, I guess if Phil won it, he would be the oldest major champion, the oldest Masters champion ever. Was he 51?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't ask me. I don't know.
Yeah, so that'd be historic, too. But why not? It's 2020, right? So if Phil could pull that off. So anyway, you want to ask him about the Masters?
I'll let you. You're the one that said it, so I'll let you do it.
One of the traditions, as we know, and if you follow golf, is the Champions Dinner. It's the most exclusive dinner maybe on the planet, is being invited to the Champions Dinner that was held last night at Augusta National. And Tiger served Augusta rolls, which is a really fancy sushi roll with tempura shrimp, spicy tuna. He also had prime steak and chicken fajitas and a dessert trio. Sounds pretty lovely for the Masters Champions Dinner, which if you're not a Masters champion, a living Masters champion, that's the only way you can get into this dinner. You got to be a former champion. So here's the question. What would you serve if you were a Masters champion, Brett? What would be on your menu if you were hosting a dinner?
And I saw that, and I was like, man, you guys are too healthy of eaters. I'd have, like, chicken fried steak, mashed potatoes. I'd try to make all the guys feel real sluggish after they got through eating my meal. It'd just put them in a coma, and it'd almost be like Thanksgiving meal with the amount of food that we'd have out there. But you definitely have to throw some chicken fried steak in there. It'd be like a last meal, I think.
Yeah.
If this was your last meal, you got to pick it, and you got to go all out because – who knows? You may only – a lot of people that rarely do they win the Masters, but they rarely win it more than once. So this is your one time to do it.
Yeah. So chicken fried steak for you. All right. That's a good
Absolutely.
selection. All right. It'll be a fun weekend watching golf and football this weekend, and we appreciate you being here with us every Wednesday. Brett's part of the winning team now at Henderson Phillips Employer Solutions, all your employee benefits, health insurance, staffing management solutions. Brett, you can handle all of that as well as commercial and personal insurance needs.
That's right. We do employee benefits, 401k. We can handle your payroll. I can take care of your house, your automobile, so it doesn't matter. You just give me a call. I can handle anything you need to get done.
All right, 479-651-2292. That's 651-2292 for Brett with Henderson Phillips Employer Solutions. Have a fun weekend coming up, and we'll talk next week.
All right, thanks, guys. Go Hogs.
All right.